and evaluate their words at the same time. They won't be able to understand jokes, and they'll have trouble socializing. The metaphor that I use is the word processing for autistic people that are Asperger's takes up so much processing space in their brain that there's less processing available for socializing and reading body language simultaneously. If you look at the brain of the Asperger's patient, it's so consumed with processing words, there's not enough of processing capacity left over for socializing, cracking jokes, and just doing the other things that humans do. If we look at it, human processing of words is only part of what we do in everyday life. I'm expected not just to talk on the phone and understand the words, but also do appropriate body language, and I might be daydreaming and be thinking about something else while something else is going on. So we as human beings in our ordinary life multitask all the time. Our brains are involved in massive amounts of multitasking. And anything that simplifies the processing of the mental processing required in our life may be able to make our lives easier, not just for autistic people, but for other human beings in all sorts of different facets of life. Now, one of the things is, how well does my son speak now? My son has a pretty good vocabulary. We had placed a unilateral tube in his left ear to decrease his hearing in his left ear. He is not totally deaf. Technically, my son does not process on one side at the present time. He still has hearing in his left side, but it's simply decreased. Now, he makes a great deal of effort to pay attention. Do you follow me? And however, one of the things you'll notice, even maybe from the video, he doesn't get all the social cues of how he's supposed to act. That's a normal for children that have autism. Now, my son really tries to be outgoing, but he's almost like a bull in a china shop. He's out there trying to be friends, trying to be normal, but he can't see all the signs or cues to be normal. But he's trying, and he knows his parents love him, and I care about him, and his mom cares about him. And we love him to death the way he is. We just want to simplify things for his mind. And that's why we took an interest in the SPA project. Now, a lot of people, when you begin to talk about unilateral processing, they say, well, my goodness, aren't you afraid that the child will go totally deaf in the other ear, the ear that he is hearing out of? In reality, there are some risks that the child could go deaf in his last remaining ear. However, that has to be weighed against the benefit in mental processing on processing on one channel. For instance, you have two eyes. Technically, you can function in life with just one eye. Now, monocular vision is not a huge disability. However, if two eyes cause to overwhelm your mind and interfere with your ability to socialize, then you'd actually want to consider using just one eye. I'm not suggesting that or advocating that. Now, when you're watching this video, realize that the sole purpose of the information about SPA is not for people to do this in their own homes. You should not investigate or experiment on any type of unilateral processing. At the end of this video, we'll have information that if you'd like to stay up to date on our news or support this research project, you can. The information about unilateral auditory processing is proprietary. It involves unique proprietary methods of trying to simplify auditory processing of words. In the end, we believe that it'll be effective, and it'll be a much simpler way of processing words, the way the modern word processor does. It's time to stop looking at ourselves like cavemen and begin to look at our minds as complicated computers that are able to tackle both the complex task of language as well as do all the other things that normal humans and adults are supposed to do. Now, before I leave auditory processing, I want to leave you with this last picture of a child that's developing speech. When children are born, by the time a child is 2 years old, their brain size is 80% the size of an adult. Cerebral blood flow, that's the amount of blood that goes into the brain, is actually reaches a maximum by the time the child is 5 years old. When you were 5 years old, your brain had more blood flowing to it than it does now. That's right. When you were 5, you actually had more blood